You know what's wild? While everyone else is out there networking, attending every social event, and constantly surrounding themselves with people because they think that's where success comes from. You, Capricorn, you've discovered something they haven't figured out yet. Your greatest achievements? They didn't happen in the crowded room. They happened in the quiet hours when nobody was watching. When you were alone with your thoughts, your plans, your vision. This is what several individuals get wrong about you. They think you're antisocial. They think you're cold. They wonder why you keep disappearing, why you need so much time alone. But what they don't understand is that you're not running away from people. You're running toward something much more powerful. Today, we're going to talk about why your energy completely transforms when you step into solitude. Why the universe designed you to recharge, rebuild, and rise in those quiet moments. And most importantly, why right now, at this exact moment in your life, it's time to go solo. Let's get into it. You need to understand this first. As a Capricorn, due to the fact that you are ruled by Saturn, Saturn is the planet of structure, discipline, and time. But it's also the planet of boundaries. And boundaries aren't just about saying no to other people. Boundaries are about protecting your energy field so that you can actually accomplish what you came here to do. For instance, you're trying to build a skyscraper. Would you build it in the middle of a crowded marketplace with people constantly bumping into your materials, questioning your blueprint, offering unsolicited advice? Of course not. You'd need a clear, protected space. You'd need silence to hear your own thoughts. You'd need solitude to execute your vision without interference. That's what happens to your energy in solitude. When you're alone, you're not just resting, you're recalibrating, you're reconnecting with the frequency of your highest self. Because here's the truth. Other people's energy affects you more than you realize. Their doubts, their limitations, their need for you to stay small so they feel comfortable. All of that creates static in your energy field. And you can't build an empire on static. You need clarity. You need focus. You need the kind of deep, unshakable knowing that only comes when you tune out the noise and tune into yourself. Let me make something crystal clear, because I know some of you are sitting there thinking, but doesn't this mean I'm going to be lonely? Doesn't this mean I'm supposed to isolate myself forever? No, absolutely not. There's a massive difference between loneliness and solitude, and understanding this difference will change your life. Loneliness is what happens when you're disconnected from yourself. You can be lonely in a room full of people. You can be lonely in a relationship. You can be lonely at a party surrounded by friends. Because loneliness isn't about being physically alone. It's about feeling unseen, unheard, disconnected from your own truth. Solitude? That's the complete opposite. Solitude is when you're so deeply connected to yourself that you don't need external validation to feel whole. Solitude is when you can sit in a room by yourself and feel completely at peace because you know who you are. You trust your path. You're aligned with your purpose. For Capricorn, solitude is where you remember your power. It's where you shed all the masks you wear to make other people comfortable. It's where you stop performing and start becoming. And yeah, there are going to be people in your life who don't get it. They're going to take it personally when you need space. They're going to accuse you of being distant or cold or too independent. But that's their fear talking. That's their need for you to stay accessible, to stay available, to stay in a role that serves them but drains you. Your job isn't to make everyone comfortable. Your job is to honor what your soul needs to grow. So what actually happens when you go into solitude? Like on a spiritual and energetic level. This is where it gets really interesting. When you remove yourself from constant social interaction, something profound begins to occur. Your nervous system calms down. You stop operating in reaction mode and start operating in creation mode. See, when you're constantly around people, you're picking up on their emotions, their anxieties, their energy. Even if you don't realize it, you're adjusting yourself to match the room. You're code switching. Managing other people's feelings, performing versions of yourself that fit the situation. That takes an enormous amount of energy. And for Capricorn, who already carries so much responsibility, so much weight, that constant adaptation is exhausting. But in solitude, You don't have to be anything for anyone. Your energy stops leaking out in a million different directions and starts concentrating, focusing, intensifying. This is when your intuition gets loud. This is when downloads start coming through. Ideas that seemed impossible suddenly have a clear path forward. Problems that felt overwhelming suddenly have obvious solutions. Because your mind isn't cluttered with everyone else's opinions anymore. You're not second-guessing yourself based on what someone else might think. You're tapped into your own inner knowing, and that's where your genius lives. I want you to think back to your biggest breakthroughs. The moments when everything clicked, when you figured out that strategy, when you solved that problem, when you had that realization that changed everything. I'm willing to bet that most of those moments didn't happen in a brainstorming session or a group chat. They happened when you were alone, in the shower, on a walk, in the middle of the night, in those quiet moments when it was just you and your thoughts. That's not a coincidence. That's how you're designed to access your power. Now, I want to address something because I know there's a part of you that might be feeling guilty about this. Maybe you've got family members who need you, friends who depend on your advice, a partner who wants more of your time, and here you are, being told you need to go solo. Listen to me carefully. Going solo doesn't mean cutting everyone off and moving to a cabin in the woods. It means establishing strong boundaries around your time, your energy, and your space so that you can show up as your best self. Think of it like this. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? Everyone says that. But what they don't tell you is that for Capricorn, your cup doesn't refill in social settings. Your cup refills in solitude. So when you take time to be alone, when you protect your space, when you say no to things that drain you, you're not being selfish. You're ensuring that when you do show up for the people you love, you're showing up full, present, powerful, not running on fumes. The people who truly love you will understand this. They'll respect your need for space because they want you to thrive, not just survive. And the people who push back, who guilt-trip you, who make you feel bad for needing what you need, they're not your people. Not right now, anyway. Sometimes the universe removes people from your life, not as a punishment, but as a protection. Because you're being prepared for a new level, and not everyone is meant to go there with you. And that's okay. That's actually part of the process. Here's where we go a little deeper. Because what's really happening when Capricorn goes into solitude isn't just about productivity or peace of mind. It's a spiritual initiation. In many ancient traditions, the seeker had to go into isolation before receiving wisdom. The vision quest, the hermit's cave, the wandering in the desert. This wasn't punishment. This was preparation. Because in solitude, you face yourself. Not the version of yourself that you present to the world. Not the role you play or the mask you wear, but the real, raw, unfiltered you. Your fears, your shadows, your wounds, your truth. And for Capricorn, who spends so much time being strong for everyone else, being the rock, being the reliable one, this can be uncomfortable at first. Because when you're alone, you can't distract yourself from what you've been avoiding. You can't busy yourself into numbness. You can't perform your way out of feeling. You have to sit with it, process it, integrate it. This is the death and rebirth cycle that Saturn demands of you. The old version of you, the one who said yes when you meant no, who sacrificed your dreams to meet everyone else's expectations, who dimmed your light to make others comfortable. That version has to die. And something new has to be born. A version of you that's aligned with your truth, that honors your boundaries, that pursues your vision unapologetically. This transformation doesn't happen in the noise. It happens in the silence. So if you're in a season right now where you feel pulled to be alone more than usual, where social interactions feel draining, where you just want space to breathe and think and be, don't fight it. That's not depression. That's not you being antisocial. That's your soul asking for space to evolve. Honor it. Alright, so we've talked about the why. Now let's talk about the how. Because knowing you need solitude is one thing. Actually creating it in your life is another. First, schedule it like it's sacred. Because it is. Put it in your calendar. Block off time that's just for you. Not for working. Not for scrolling. Not for catching up on emails. Time for genuine solitude where you can think, reflect, create, or just be. And I know what you're thinking, I don't have time for that. But here's the reality check you need. You make time for everyone else, don't you? You make time for that meeting, for that favor someone asked, for scrolling through social media for an hour. You've got time, you've just been giving it away to everything except yourself. Start small if you need to. Even 15 minutes of intentional solitude is better than nothing. Wake up 15 minutes earlier. Take your lunch break alone instead of with coworkers. Sit in your car for 10 minutes before you walk into the house. Find the pockets of time and claim them. Second, create a space that feels like yours. It doesn't have to be a whole room. It can be a corner, a chair by the window, a spot in your garden. Somewhere that when you sit there, your nervous system knows, okay, this is my space. I'm safe here. I can let my guard down. Make it intentional. Maybe you light a candle when you sit there. Maybe you play a specific type of music. Maybe you keep a journal there. Create a ritual around it so your mind and body know that when you enter that space, you're entering sacred time. Third, protect your energy ruthlessly. This means saying no to invitations that don't align with where you're going. It means letting phone calls go to voicemail when you need quiet. It means not explaining yourself to people who wouldn't understand anyway. You don't owe anyone access to you 24/7. You really don't. And here's a tough one. You might need to set boundaries with people you love. Your best friend who wants to vent for 2 hours every night. Your family member who expects you to attend every single gathering. Your partner who doesn't understand why you need alone time. These conversations are uncomfortable, but they're necessary. You can say things like, I love spending time with you, but I also need time alone to recharge. It's not about you. It's about me taking care of myself so I can show up better for both of us. Most reasonable people will understand, and the ones who don't, that tells you something important too. Fourth, use your solitude intentionally. Journal, meditate, visualize your future, work on that project that lights you up. This isn't about escaping life. It's about designing it. Your solitude should have purpose. Even if that purpose is rest. Even if that purpose is doing absolutely nothing and just being. But be intentional about it. Don't let your alone time turn into mindless scrolling or binge-watching shows you don't even enjoy. That's not solitude. That's numbing. Real solitude is active, even when you're being still. It's you choosing to be present with yourself, to listen to your thoughts, to feel your feelings, to connect with that quiet voice inside that knows exactly what you need. And fifth, trust the timing. If you're being called to go solo right now, there's a reason. Maybe you're being prepared for an opportunity that requires a stronger, more focused version of you. Maybe you're being protected from connections that would hold you back. Maybe you're being redirected toward your actual purpose. Whatever it is, trust it. The universe doesn't guide you toward solitude to punish you. It guides you there to prepare you. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Your need for solitude isn't a flaw. It's your superpower. It's how you recharge. It's how you access your highest wisdom. It's how you build the life that most people only dream about. While everyone else is chasing external validation, you're building internal strength. While they're seeking approval, you're developing self-trust. While they're afraid to be alone with their thoughts, you're becoming best friends with yourself. And that's where your real power lives. I want you to understand something profound. Every major achievement in your life came from the work you did in private. The studying nobody saw, the practice nobody witnessed, the planning you did in the quiet hours, the decisions you made when it was just you and your vision. That's the Capricorn way. You don't need an audience to do great things. You don't need cheerleaders to keep going. You don't need constant encouragement from others because you've learned to encourage yourself. And right now, if you're in a season where people are falling away, where your social circle is getting smaller, where you feel more drawn to your own company than ever before, celebrate that, because you're not losing anything. You're gaining everything. You're gaining clarity. You're gaining focus. You're gaining the mental and emotional space to actually become who you're meant to be. The world is loud. Everyone has an opinion about what you should do, who you should be, how you should live your life. But in solitude, in that quiet space, That's where you hear the only voice that truly matters. Your own. So if you've been feeling the pull to go solo, to step back, to create more space in your life, this is your sign. It's not selfish, it's not cold, it's not antisocial, it's necessary, it's strategic, it's spiritual. Your next level is waiting for you in the silence. The version of you that you're meant to become can only emerge when you give yourself permission to step away from the noise and step into your power. So go. Take that time, claim that space, honor that need, because your solitude isn't isolating you from your destiny, it's leading you straight to it. Go find it, Capricorn. Your greatest chapter is about to begin.